Okay guys, so we have a wet road, and because it has just stopped raining, so the road is still wet. Very nice. So you see, despite the wet, we can still hold a tight line. Well done, Continental. Hey guys, we are at the SS Pro tire shop in Sunway, and this is where we're going to change the tire from the ones that are on the car now to the Continental SC7 for our test. So this is a comparative test between the Continental SC7 and one of its competitors. Good morning everybody, welcome to Khong Driving. We are at our favorite BH petrol station in Gombak, and as you can see, it's a beautiful day, it's dry and the sun is just coming out. And so what are we doing today? Today we are doing a back-to-back test of the Continental SC7 versus a Pirelli tire. Guys, we are now at part 2 of the Genting Hill Climb, and this is a very good place to test the tires. Now, no matter how well a car is built, the tires make a difference in the end. So let's see how this tire performs. Lateral grip is very important. That will minimize understeer. So we went through that bend quite well. This is third gear. Normally it's a second gear bend. Okay, here's an interesting series of bends. Lovely. Oh, nice. Here we are at the top. Okay, so let's just wrap up about these tires. Well, the overall performance is excellent. Yeah, this is a high performance tires, and the difference between this and others may be very small, but it's a small difference that makes a difference. Yeah, you can go through maybe 1 or 2 kilometers per hour faster. It makes your driving that much better, and of course, if you're on a racetrack, then your lap times would be a bit faster. So most important about these tires is the grip, yeah, the straight line stability, and more important than that is the cornering stability. So the sidewalls are strong enough yet flexible enough to give you that flex, and the tread pattern is really good because it has a different type of pattern on the outside and inside. So around the corners, when all the load is on the outside, there is the thick block tread that actually gives you better rubber contact with the road, and also it's the compound that helps with the grip too. So it's a tire is a combination of everything that you put together. So this part of the test is driving it on the highway in the rain to check the properties of the SC7. Now, the SC7 or CSC7 as they call it, because it's Continental Sport Contact, yeah, is a high performance tire and is mooted for its very good grip on Genting. Okay guys, so we have a wet road, and because it has just stopped raining, so the road is still wet. So we will just see whether we can check out the tires under these conditions or not. Very nice. So you see, despite the wet, we can still hold a tight line. And here we are at the top of the hill. Okay, we made it in one piece. Okay, so the road, as you can see now, is still wet, So just to wrap up on the CSC7, I think its wet performance is also very, very good. Well done, Continental. They've done a good job in designing the tread pattern, plus combining it with a compound, and of course the construction of the tire that allows you maximum contact with the road. So, in a single word, pass. We have tested the Continental CSC7, and today we have already fitted the Pirellis onto the rims of the same car, and we're going to take it up on the road for a test, and then we will go up the mountain. And so we'll first start by doing a drive on the road. Let's see how it feels. Now the two tires are actually very, very close. The Continental CSC7 has a wear rate of 240, and this one, the Pirellis, have a wear rate of 220. So in terms of a tire, it's a question of where you want it to be, and in this case Continental has chosen 240 as the wear rate, which they have done research and they think that this is the wear rate that is suitable for this tire, because it's also based on user preferences, whether they want a longer lasting tire or a tire that gives a bit better grip. So the Continental tires have a slightly different type of tread pattern, and the most noticeable one is on the outside block, where they have a kind of a diamond shaped groove, and that is supposed to give you much better grip. At this speed, well, I don't think there's any difference in the two tires. Seems to be about the same type of performance. There's no negative, there's no positive, they are about the same. So if you drive slow all the time, no difference. But if you want to have a bit of difference in the driving performance, and that's where we will test on the mountain, yeah? Okay, so as a driver, I normally adjust to the condition of the car in terms of grip and, you know, stopping power, and also how much traction I can get. And I must say, these Pirellis are pretty good. Okay, so we are at the first roundabout, coming in to the end of the first part of the run, and so far, which is the better tire? It's so hard to decide, man. Honestly speaking, the two tires are very, very close. Now, there's nothing wrong with the grip of these tires, the Pirellis, but I think maybe the Continentals have a bit more advantage in terms of around the corners. You feel the road a bit more. Well, this one feels planted, but with the CSC7s, I think perhaps you can feel the road surface reacting with your car. You know, you can feel that it actually feels very, how do you say, you can feel the road, so you can drive a little bit better. Okay, but the difference is really, really very, very little. So it's down to the wires, you know, that little bit of difference. And I think maybe the tread compound and combination, the Continentals have a slight advantage. Okay, so now we are going on to the second part of the climb, and the road gets a little bit damp, and there's a bit of a mist. Okay, slightly wet. A little bit of understeer in the front. Slow down a little bit to reduce the understeer. Motorbike in this corner. Okay, we are safe. No sun today, very good. I think under braking, the CSC7 maybe has a bit of an advantage. Okay, so we are here at the top of the hill. Oh, nice. I still enjoy the drive. So going around the corner on the Pirellis, you actually have to go in at a slightly lower speed in order to maintain the same stability, because there's a tendency for the front tires to break away. Oops, a bit of a tail out there. Okay, so the road is wet. It's not actually very wet. It's just damp with a little bit of rain, and you can see the raindrops on the screen, yeah? Okay, there's a slight tendency to understeer, and so as a result, you have to go in a little bit slower to stop that from happening. And when you accelerate, you cannot accelerate too hard because the tail will start wagging. Yeah, and the front actually brakes, pushes if you accelerate out of the corner. Oops, understeer. Yes, there is a tendency for the front to push with these tires on. Understeer. A bit of understeer here. Yes, the road is wet, guys. Wet. So you got to be careful. Oops, pushing. Oops, it's pushing. Yeah, understeer. Oops, four-wheel steer, four-wheel drift. Wet. Oops. The tail started to come out, yeah, and the front was breaking away at the same time. Kind of a four-wheel drift. Yes, despite the fact that there's no rain, guys, the road is wet, yeah. It is wet and slippery, and this is what you call the wet test. Okay, so we are here at the top of the hill. Yes, we made it in one piece. What's the difference between the Pirelli P Zeros and the Continental SC7s? Okay, here is where the difference lies. I noticed that the SC7 was slightly wider than the P Zeros when you put them side by side, and also I think the compound also makes a bit of difference. The Continentals had a bit better feel. You could feel the road better. I think that is to do with the construction of the tire, which has maybe a little bit softer sidewalls and gives you a better feel of the road. Now, in the wet, it's all about how much water you can evacuate with your tires. I think the advantage goes to the Continental SC7 because of the unique tread pattern they have that actually helps to push out water. And of course, that also works with the compound. And of course, the SC7 is a much newer tire, and you know, nowadays technology, including tire technology, sort of reinvents itself every 2-3 years, yeah, because things move very quick. And so the SC7 being newer and in terms of design and technology, seems to have the advantage here. So in the wet, the P Zeros do tend to understeer a bit more, and the understeer is more sudden. So with the SC7, you also get understeer, but to a lesser degree, and it happens at a slightly higher speed. And of course, when it happens, you can also feel it coming. So driving is a lot about driving feel, and in this case, I think the SC7 wins just by a little bit over the P Zero. So if you ask me which is the better tire, of course it's the SC7. So guys, thanks for watching our video, and till we meet again in the next video, bye bye.